All right, so I'm sure by now you have come to appreciate where we stand at the season. Well, you should have written off the season by now. It doesn't mean you should leave us. You should still come here because we've got a lot to discuss. In the last 12 Premier League games, we've lost 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. We are comfortably seated at 15th position. That's where we are right now at Manchester United. Well, you're welcome to another edition of United and Everything Football Podcast. I'm not at my regular location, unfortunately, so I had to do this makeshift arrangement so we could still deliver to you United and Everything Football. We are sorry that we couldn't come your way during the midweek because we had a bit of a challenge. That's why you couldn't hear from us. But once again, welcome. Remember to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. You know what to do every single time we are here for you here on United and Everything Football. I'm here with Kwame. Kwame, good to have you.
I just let's good, my friend.
Good to have you.
My brother. Alles ist scheiße. Alles ist scheiße. Worüber können wir sprechen? Worüber können wir noch sprechen, mein Bruder? Wir haben alles gesprochen. Wir sind scheiße. Scheiße Fußballmannschaft, scheiße Fans, scheiße Trainer, scheiße Fußballer. Alles ist kaputt.
Can I interpret? You are using some S swear words that the fans, the whatever. Please, he's speaking German. Whatever he says, those who understand German, that's for you. Anyway, Kwame. But why are you so worked up? I mean, we know what is happening. Prior to the game, we just had a sense of what was going to happen. You know what? Let me make a quick turnaround. But before that, remember to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and also remember to leave a comment and smash the likes for us. The last question we asked the other time, the answer to the question is Rio Ferdinand. Rio Ferdinand. When we come back, I would give you another question for the week here on United and Everything Football. We'll be right back after this. All right, thank you very much. Welcome back to United and Everything Football Podcast. So let me give you the question for this week. The question for this week for our quiz segment. Well, let's hear this. By virtue of my career path, who am I? West Ham, Swindon Town, Birmingham City, Tottenham Hotspurs, Man United. I'll take it again. West Ham, Swindon Town, Birmingham City, Spurs, Man United. Who am I by virtue of this career path? Drop it in the comment section. Let's hear you. We are still compiling the names, so let's hear you. Let's see what you have for us here on United and Everything Football. Kwame, let's get to action. It's been a whirlwind of bad news, one bad news after the other, and I'm sure you've got a lot on your chest to unpack on this particular situation. What has been the problem with Man United?
It's been a multitude of issues, but before we went on a break, you spoke about the fact that we are 15th on the table. Over the past 2.5 months, we've been saying on the point. It's almost like as if
they're just about 40 teams.
We've been saying that we can count 15 teams who are actually better than us. I guess where we are now, 15. And when you look at the teams that are below us, these are exactly the teams that we are actually better than. It's a true reflection of where we should be. It's sad. It's sad that we could not even avert such a situation. And we find ourselves exactly where we dreaded that we'll find ourselves. But like you said, what has led to us getting to this situation? At the end of the transfer window, we said we are doomed. We are in trouble. Because we weakened our squad and we didn't strengthen our squad. What you would have expected after that is for us to have managed our squad for the rest of the season.
Correct.
But yesterday, I was upbeat leading up to the game. For various reasons. I was saying, you know what? Finally, this man gets...
We've had a lot of days to train.
His 9 days of training he was...
His mantra has been that we don't have training. We don't have training. It's been match after match after match. So we now had a lengthy time to train.
I was saying, yes, finally, this man gets what he wants. Because You know, he wanted to qualify from the Europa League group stage, avoiding that round of 16 fixture, so that he can have this particular period to train these boys. I was saying to myself, Spurs are not in good form. Both of us are in a bad situation. Our away form is okay. By all means, this our bad record against the Aussie man at Spurs is going to end. But guess what happened during this training? And this is what I'm going to emphasize on, based on my professional background. I'm not just saying this in a vacuum. We had a very poor game against Leicester City. Very, very poor game. But at the end of the day, we were able to shithouse our way to a victory. That's what we've been doing. And Amorim, when we win games, it's almost always left very, very late for somebody to rescue the game for us. That goal was even offside to help us progress into the next stage of the FA Cup. But something interesting happened right after the football game. Usually, normally, there was always a warm down that players do after games. Everybody knows this. We've seen videos where people are having interviews and players are running in the background. It's a warm down, a simple warm down, something just to get the lactic acid out of the system of certain players, or even helps the players who don't play to, just shake things up. But it was reported right after the game that Ruben Amorim was so disappointed with how we performed against Leicester City that certain players who had even played 90 minutes took part in a 90-minute training session, a full training session. Usually a full training session is between 60 minutes and 90 minutes. They did a full one right after playing 90 minutes of football. And people are telling me, oh, but sometimes it happens. No, the fact that it may have happened under another manager doesn't make it right. And it doesn't make it right in this particular instance. Usually after a very tough game like this, players are supposed to do a warm down or get into cold showers, get some massages, just get some rest. Because that's the thing. That's when you want to manage your squad health-wise, knowing that you are short, that's what you do. I think he took an emotional decision, which may have come back to bite us, because I can only imagine that during the week, all he would have been trying to do was whip up those boys, whip them up, get them to
run them down,
run them down. And at the end of the day, we've had 4 very, very bad injuries, including that to our best player, Amad Diallo, who is out for the rest of the season with an ankle injury. Kobe Mainoo is out. Collier is out. Ugarte is out. Have you realized the area of the pitch where these players are out? Very often when we lose balls in transition, what does he want these boys to do? Run back really, really, really hard.
Yes.
See, this is not preseason. You see, when you come in the middle of a season, there is a way that teams are managed in the middle of the season up until the end of the season. They are not managed the same way they are managed at the beginning of the season. You can't have a full preseason in the middle of the season. More so when your squad is even short. What you have to do is you have to manage them till the very end of the season until you have a full preseason. But he went gung-ho. I'm sure he just went gung-ho, and this is the repercussion. More bodies fall into an already depleted squad. Before the game, a lot of fans suddenly lost confidence, me inclusive, because I was saying to myself, you know what? How do we go against a team in the same vicinity as us, who is having bodies returning? Because if you would have realized the Spurs squad, from the bench even to the starting level, you could see certain players who had been missing for quite a long period of time had returned into the squad. Whereas we were losing bodies instead.
They gained a lot of bodies in there.
I was saying that if the game goes sideways, how are we going to change the game? And we got to learn. I'm sure the academy accounts are super delighted. Not as delighted as they are after the game, because a lot of them are tearing into Amorim for not taking any chance on these young kids. We'll get there. That's at the end of the game. But before the game, a lot of these youngsters were set to make their squad debuts. And a huge plethora of them, including Sekou Kone and Chido Obi. Those are the 2 notable ones from the list of players who had joined the squad out of necessity. Usually, historically, Manchester United, that's why I'm saying that Amorim has a lot to learn. This is not the first time we found ourselves in this situation. The very experienced managers, you've seen it under Louis van Gaal, you've seen it under Erik ten Hag, we've seen it under Jose Mourinho. I mentioned these 3. Even Ralf
they just throw the boys in. Just go in there.
When you have nothing to lose, because that's the stage that we are. That is the time that you have to give the boys a chance. Throw them in and see what they can do. After all, what's the worst that could happen?
I mean, not to cut you, out of that, Under Jose Mourinho, Tuanzebe emerged, McTominay emerged because we had to throw them in. Under Van Gaal, in a Europa League game, when all our players had been run down, guess who came to the fore? Marcus Rashford scored in that game, went ahead to score against Arsenal, and these were big games. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer threw in Mason Greenwood at very difficult times. Eric Ten Hag threw in Alejandro Garnacho at very difficult times. So in that last 3 minutes that he was bringing in Ubi Martins, what was this coach really expecting? What was he expecting?
Kwame, nobody is calling Ruben Amorim a bad coach. Listen, there are people who hear us, but I feel they don't listen to us. There's a difference. You know, you can hear what we are saying, but sometimes you hear what you want to hear, but you don't listen to exactly what we are saying. Nobody is saying Ruben Amorim is a bad coach, but what we are saying is he is not as experienced as many a coach, and he is prone to mistakes as well. He's not managed a club of our stature or magnitude before. More so, he hasn't even found himself in such a peculiar situation as this before, where he's taken over a team at the middle of the season. He hasn't had the new manager bounce. Things aren't going his way. Bodies are falling down. The squad isn't up to it. He hasn't found himself in this situation before. He only just turned 40. He hasn't been managing for a long time. He didn't manage a Porto or a Benfica. It was Sporting Lisbon, the third best team in Portugal. There was a huge jump from Sporting Lisbon to Manchester United. I remember the previous manager, they were even saying Ajax is not Manchester United. Whereas historically, I know that Manchester United, especially when it comes to European competition. You get what I'm trying to say? That's a huge club. It's such a massive, massive jump. In the middle of the season, it's so complicated. I feel an experienced manager would have managed things way better than he has managed it. But alas, this is where we find ourselves. Kwame, let's get into the game, because I think there's not much else to talk about. If we keep on speaking like this, people will say, oh, you are hitting on the manager. So let's get into the game so that we get into the players and the squad. The starting 11 was that of all the experienced players he could muster from the squad that's available to him. He puts them together on the football pitch. And it was that of, interestingly enough, the Leeds played as left centre-back instead of Mazraoui. Mazraoui played at right centre-back with Maguire sitting in the middle of them. He did the right thing by playing Dogu on the left, whom I think had an outstanding game.
He played very well.
All things considered. What do you notice about him the most? Physicality.
Exactly.
These are the kind of players that we have to sign. Physical players who can match up to the speed and intensity of the Premier League.
But he's very good on the ball. I mean, pushing the ball.
He's actually good.
Technically very good. Yeah.
You know, he plays as a left forward, especially for Denmark. I know he's done it for Lecce on numerous occasions, but for Denmark, predominantly, ever since he made his senior debut, I think he's made it as a left forward. He's even got a shot on him. He's got a goal on him. So technically, he's good. Young, fast, quick, energetic. On the right-hand side, Diogo Dalot played there. And I'll get into the Diogo Dalot bit very soon. In midfield is where I think we had the biggest of problems in Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes. But I don't think any
that was expected. Wasn't that expected?
That's the thing. But what shocked me was, for most parts of the game, I felt Bruno Fernandes was even worse than Casemiro in the middle of the park in terms of what he did with the ball. Casemiro, we know what Casemiro lacks, right? Yeah, he puts himself about, but the pace, the speed of thought, everything now is on an all-time low. But Bruno Fernandes should have done better.
There was this ball where he had the ball. He was looking to his man to send in the cross. Before he could see Jack, the ball had been stolen out of his legs because he felt he had the luxury of time.
All the time in the world. And he had a front three of Zexi. That's where I want to get into the Zexi-Dalot axis over there. Zexi was playing in front of Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro as one of the 10s.
Yes.
Garnacho was also playing as a 10, but had drifted onto the left-hand side, right? With Rasmus Højlund playing right in front of them. What it meant is that there was a void on the right-hand side, if you had noticed watching throughout the whole game. It was for two things. It was a kill or be killed situation. You know, sometimes managers leave a gap in the game, either to exploit or get exploited.
Yeah.
The hope is that you are the one doing the exploitation and not being exploited.
Mm.
Dalot was the one supposed to take advantage of that space, bombing forward all the time. That was epitomized by even our first opportunity in the game, where he finds himself in the box after Alejandro Garnacho shot his parry to him, and he should probably have scored a goal. But the Spurs player in that particular zone was the one who took the most advantage of that space, and that was Spence. He was announced man of the match. He was actually cooking. He was having the freedom of the park, being able to drive in lots of space.
Yeah.
We left that space deliberately because we thought we were the ones going to exploit it. Unfortunately, the tables were turned, and this is where I have an issue with Amorim and his in-game management. If it is not working, if you have realized that there is a problem, in-game, what do? You have to plug the problem. But he will not plug the problem, and he allowed the problem to persist for 90 solid minutes. This is the in-game changes that we speak about, and people don't seem to understand that when we say in-game, you can play the same formation that you are playing. But there are various different variations to the system to cater for certain problems that rear its head during the football game.
Correct.
That change did not happen. Spence had the freedom of the park to do whatever that he wanted on the right-hand side, and we didn't do anything to curtail it. Football is about chances change games, right? That's how we say it. Goals change games. That's like the actual
moments. Picking your moments.
Moments change games. I felt if we had scored from that Højlund shot, that Garnacho shot, or that Dalot attempt, it would have changed the game for us, because going into the game, we all felt the first goal was very, very crucial. Very, very crucial, especially for Amorim's side. Very often when we consider the first goal, it's tough for us to come back, except in the big games. So when Spurs went the other way and then scored from their very first shot, of course, who else was culpable for that? Diogo Dalot was the one who was lucky behind and played Madison offside. Madison taps the ball into an empty net after Ronaldo parries a shot in his way. I said to myself, we can still come back into this game. But what I saw after that was Spurs just dominating possession. We were running rings around us, especially in the midfield. And when we did have the ball, we turned over the ball way too quickly. On a few occasions that we did go forward after that, we had a glorious chance to equalize, and Alejandro Garnacho skied the ball. I'll talk briefly about Alejandro Garnacho before we get on to the rest of the game. I put up a tweet about a week ago stating that Alejandro Garnacho would 100% be the next scapegoat, and he'll be hounded out of Manchester United in the next 3 or 4 months. And when I posted that and he missed the opportunity today, people were getting back at me on Twitter, go like, this is why we are scapegoating him. And I said to them that, but this is exactly what I was referring to. When people see certain things, they think you are defending him. But you and I would know that even I wanted Garnacho sold about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm not the be it and end all when it comes to certain players. No, I don't do that. But I know that with the options that we have left, very, very limited options that we have left, it is either he elevates his game to a very, very high level from where it was. Otherwise, if he remains where he is, there is no hiding for him anymore.
Absolutely.
Because he has to play every single damn game now.
The spotlight is on him now.
We would have to keep the spotlight. That's the word, Kwame. That's the word. The spotlight is on him now. So it's either kill or be killed. Yep. And the Garnacho that we know is profligate. We've been saying it for years now, a couple of years now.
But that's because I've seen players miss chances. But that was open your body up.
Unpardonable.
Go and just had to skyrocket the ball somewhere.
Unpardonable. See, he is a massive talent. But when people compare him to the likes of Lamine Yamal, I'm saying to them that, see, you see the likes of Mbappe and Haaland that come out. These are generational talents. Alejandro Garnacho is not a generational talent. He's not. Generational talent, what I mean by that is they are a once in a lifetime player. He comes in, he's just exceptional from a very, very young age. You can't teach what he can do. Alejandro Garnacho is one of those players that needs to be developed. It needs a lot of coaching. Ideally, he should be doing it under less pressure, where you have certain players around him to take the pressure off. But we have stripped ourselves bare naked now. Bare naked, butt naked, literally. And now he has to step up into very, very big shoes. And if what we know him to be is what he is going to produce, then he's in trouble. Because he misses these chances very, very often. On its constant regularity. This is not new. This is not the first time I've seen him balloon a ball like this when he should be burying a ball. He's highly inconsistent, but now he can't afford that. So more grease to his elbow. I wish him the very best for the rest of the season because it's going to be a very, very, very long road. He hasn't even scored a league goal under Amorim yet. He's one of the players who doesn't actually fit the system, if you're being honest. And we were looking to sell him. The right bid just didn't come in. Otherwise, we would have sold him and probably not even replaced him.
There's something that epitomized his immaturity for me. Can you count the number of times Dogu made an overlapping or underlapping run and Alejandro Garnacho decided
to just lay the ball,
move the ball to his right to sort of look for a pass on the right or try and then hit a shot? It was extremely frustrating because if you watch Dogu, the moment Garnacho gets the ball, he quickly makes a move into space. There are one or two times where you would trick the defender and then cut to your right. But on 5 occasions,
but you can reverse pass the ball. Reverse pass.
Five occasions. Alejandro Garnacho didn't provide a single one of them to Dogu. And that tells you the level of immaturity on the part of
immaturity. That's the word, immaturity. And he has to grow up quickly. Otherwise, he's in massive trouble. So it's halftime. We are a goal down, and I'm saying to myself, I'm trying to convince myself. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to convince myself that we've come back in big games. We come back at Liverpool. We've come back at City. We can do this again. And this is not a Spurs side that is like worldly. 15 minutes in the second half, we take the game to them. I'll get to Zexi because Zexi was sort of linking us up, the one who was driving us forward.
I mean, one of the lively players on the day.
Lively players. People were praising him at the end of the day. This is a very good performance from this. I was saying to myself, if this is a good performance, then we're in trouble. We are in trouble. It was an okay performance. Based off what we have seen from him, we haven't seen him like this before.
That is the benchmark. We have benchmarking his
okay.
worst performances this one, so that's the point.
But he was the one who was able to do take-ons, carry the ball, drive us forward. He made certain bad decisions at times, good decisions at times. But that 15 minutes, we had certain opportunities falling to Alejandro. That's the thing. Our best chances fell to Alejandro Garnacho. And I can't even say it fell to the wrong player because it's not like Zexi is going to guarantee you a goal. It's not like Højlund is going to guarantee you a goal. But both chances that we had very early on fell to Alejandro Garnacho and then he spent them. I think Vicario in goal two, coming back for Spurs was quite critical because if it was the other goalkeeper, I think we would have had
our chance.
Would have had our chances of scoring goals. But Vicario was very, very good for Spurs. They had very, very timely returns in terms of injuries. Yeah. But after the 15 minutes, I remember something that the commentator said right at the start of the game when we went cold. He said, Manchester United is in this game because Manchester United is a moments team. We do not sustain pressures. We do not sustain long spells of possession under Amorim. All you know is when we are playing against big teams, we are always going to have our chances because we have certain players who can create chances for us. The problem is we don't have any player right now who can finish our chances. We went cold again. We just went cold again, and then Spurs had a plethora of chances. I think Spurs had over 20 shots on target this season, the most since we played Spurs the very first time in the league under Erik ten Hag. Yeah. So it shows that defensively we were not even solid today. It was just a ding-dong affair. Kill or be killed sort of.
In fact, the game, let's be honest, the game was poor quality, Kwame. It was poor quality from both sides.
It was. You can't. It shows why both teams are where they are. Basically, that's what it does. Exactly. Two teams who are struggling for form, struggling for quality, struggling with all sorts of things, and now struggling with injuries as well. Yeah. After the 15-minute spell, that Spurs also had.
Let's quickly wrap it up. We have just about 8 minutes to go, so let's quickly wrap it up.
From the 60th minute up until the 75th minute, Spurs couldn't get the second goal to kill the game, so then we came back into it. Some very quality crosses into the box where you expected us to score, we could not put the ball away. Zexi should have buried a ball there. We had Casemiro in the box a couple of times where he should have done better. It didn't happen. Spurs also had their chances on the break with Tell, who just couldn't do anything right in front of goal today. It kind of makes you wonder whether it was even right to not have brought him in. But at this point in time, I can't even afford to say that. We should have brought him in. We should have done something to bring him in because we lack monies. At the end of the day, you're saying to yourself, why aren't we bringing something off the bench to alter the game? We have kids on the bench. We have nothing to lose. We're losing the football game.
Yeah.
But we did not make any changes up until we brought Chido Obi Martin in the 91st minute. When the ref had showed we have just 3 minutes. I said to myself that, Amorim, there are a lot of things that you're not getting right. I think you are under pressure. I just said to myself, you are under pressure because any right-thinking manager then would make different decisions, different calls.
Gamble.
But I think the pressure...
Gamble on some.
You gamble. That's the word, you gamble. But I think the pressure has gotten to him. He did not take any chances. And another day, he was saying he was protecting the players. You've watched Manchester United too long for you to tell me that you're protecting.
Courage, success. Well, if you don't provide the courage...
That's the mantra of Manchester United. You should walk into that academy, see it written on the walls. You should be bold enough to take chances on the youth. They may bring you success. Like Carrington comes, see, well, I mean, we spend and spend and spend and spend. I've been saying, I use this line all the time, but we always go back to La Carrington. We will spend and spend and spend and spend, and it's always La Carrington rescuing us. He should take chances on the kids now. There is nothing to lose. They're not getting relegated. Trust me or not. We'll not even come close to getting relegated because there are too many bad teams below us, especially the bottom three. They are not going anywhere. But what this season has culminated in is it's a dead season. It's a nothing season. You have nothing to lose. And it's not like we've not been here at this stage of the season before. I remember Ryan Giggs and then the rest throwing in when they had their interim spells. They were throwing in youngsters at a point in time. And they were winning games. They were actually winning games for us.
That's true.
Just do it. What else do we have to lose? So keep the squad that you have as healthy as possible. For the cup competitions. The only way you can do that is mixing the young players with the experienced players to get through the league games, whilst you can present a far stronger squad in cup competitions. And we'll take it from there.
All right. Thank you very much, Kwame, for the very good analysis. In fact, Kwame has spent the whole episode trying to break down events that have happened over the week up until this point. So if you have missed anything, he has broken it down for you. So a lot has happened.
I've tried.
Just to add up, a lot has happened. So we've lost a lot of our players through injuries. In fact, the league said that as a professional player, the way they trained this week, he has never trained like that in his life before.
And this is someone who has played for Juve, Barca, Juve, Bayern Munich, and which other team? Ajax Amsterdam. Exactly. And he's never seen this before, especially at the end of the season. Make of it what you want.
The coach knows what he's doing. But thank you very much. Thank you very much for everything, for being a part of this podcast. It's been great having you on this podcast. Remember to, subscribe to the channel. Remember to hit the notification bell and do everything that you do for us. We really appreciate your time with us. So we'll end it here and we'll see you on the next one, maybe in the course of the week, where we bring you more our guests, and then we go and give you more expert analysis and everything that's happening. I'm sure in the course of the week, a lot more news will be happening. We'll be there too. So there's no midweek action again. The coach has another week to prepare for the next game again. There's Ipswich at home. So we'll see how it goes. All right. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great time. Bye-bye. Thank you.